Welcome, everyone, to Crypto Kid TV as we discuss the Democrats' right the African American community another bounce check. If you've been following President Trump's first 100 days, you've noticed that the Democratic Party have filed over 200 lawsuits in an attempt to usurp the authority of the executive branch as they continue to advocate for illegal immigration at the expense of the African American community. What's new, you say? Since actually the end of the Civil War, the Democratic Party has diluted the political power as well as the population of the African American community by importing immigrants into the country. After the Civil War, the Democratic Party wanted to make sure that the African American community had no power, and they immediately brought in Irish immigrants, followed by German and Russian immigrants. At one time after the Civil War, the city of New York, the island of Manhattan, was more than 60% African American, and it was diluted by using not Coney Island, but Ellis Island as an immigration place to take away jobs from African Americans. In addition, the population of America was 80% Black because due to the amount of slaves that were in the states of Mississippi and Maryland. And now, 150 years later, the Democratic Party continues to advocate for the dilution of the socioeconomic and political power of the African American community by advocating for illegal immigrants. In fact, judges now are being arrested for harboring illegal immigrants and giving them assault rifles. So let's think about this. The judge in New Mexico, he and his wife harbored an illegal immigrant from Venezuela who actually is a member of the Tren de Aragua gang, gave this man hunting rifles, which the Democratic Party call assault weapons, that were registered to their daughter. And this man posed in photographs on social media with these guns that were registered to this judge's wife. The judge was arrested. He's been disbarred for life from New Mexico by the Supreme Court. And so the Supreme Court of New Mexico have stepped in and barred this judge from practicing law for life. Now, how often does the state Supreme Court step in? Because being barred or disbarred is left to the Bar Association. But the state Supreme Court of New Mexico have stepped in and they've barred this judge from practicing law for the rest of his life in the state of Mexico. And it's unlikely that he can go to any other state and practice law. In addition, in the state of Wisconsin, a sitting judge was arrested by the FBI for assisting the escape. One, this judge obstructed justice by assisting the escape of a fugitive, and two, committed a federal felony by helping this person evade ICE. And the Supreme Court of the state of Wisconsin have temporarily revoked have suspended this judge from practicing law. And it's very likely that the Supreme Court of Wisconsin will revoke the judge's law license. So isn't this interesting? And if you look at the fake news media, including Fox News, even Fox News now has no problem promoting fake news from the Associated Press. And now they're publishing statements that I saw it on Fox News that Elon Musk is leaving Doge, and there's no truth to that at all. In addition, fake news has on the social media that when Donald Trump was sitting to meet with Volodymyr Zelensky in the Vatican, that what they discussed were mineral deals. And what the discussion was coming to a ceasefire with Russia. Instead, they falsely report fake news, and that is why they're the fake news media. And President Donald Trump told the ABC reporter that interviewed him to his face that ABC is the ultimate of fake news. And that is why people now are resorting to social media like my show, like the Great American Show, and Stephen Gardner, where Stephen Gardner has 1.9 million subscribers. Okay. And now no one has any faith or confidence or respect for the legacy media. It's just a matter of time before ABC, NBC, and CBS, as well as MSNBC and CNN, are sold for pennies on the dollar. And now the average American resorts to social media, specifically YouTube and Rumble, to get their news, because they no longer see the legacy media, ABC, CBS, and NBC, as trusted sources of information. Meanwhile, Bitcoin has risen more than $400. And let me take a look at it now. Today, Bitcoin has risen $467 to the price of $94,708. So the market is warming up to these trade tariffs. And I would imagine Ethereum is positive. Yes, it is up $19.07 to the price of $1,813.75. However, the S&P is most likely down right now. Oh, I stand corrected. S&P 500 is up $53.50 to the price of $5,640.50. And we definitely know the Dow Jones is on the rebound now, up $141.74 to the price of $40,669.36. So the stock market, the crypto markets are improving. The financial markets overall are responding to these trade tariffs. And it is clear that President Trump in the United States, that we're going to win this trade war and tariff war with these foreign countries. And our biggest opponent is China, who has surpassed us in many ways over the last 25 years. And that is due to NATO, to NAFTA, to all these agreements that Bill Clinton and other Democrats have signed into law, and is hurting the United States and making it very difficult for us to be competitive on the international market. But a person who knows the markets well and knows finance well and has a degree in business from the Wharton School of Business, the University of Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is making wise and savvy business decisions. Yet the fake news media is reporting 90 to 98% negative against his policies, whereas with Joe Biden, he received a 59% positive coverage in his policies. So that shows you why no one trusts the legacy fake news media, because it's fake, it's a phony propaganda arm, and Barack Obama enabled that. And haven't you noticed how irrelevant both Barack Obama and Michelle Obama have become? In fact, no one is really tuning into Michelle Obama's podcast with her brother because no one cares what the hell she has to say. No one respects Michelle Obama. She was so quiet as the first lady during Barack's both terms. And then once she was out, she just took the muzzle off and she revealed how nasty and ugly she really is. And the thing about it is, I really respected Michelle Obama for her tactful behavior as first lady, despite the awful comments she was making behind the scenes. But now there's no hold bar on what she'll say. And she's lost a lot of respect of Republican women who didn't really care for the Democratic Party, but they respected her. And she's also lost a lot of respect from both men and women within the Democratic Party. And both Barack Obama, Stacey Abrams, and Michelle Obama have lost a lot of respect by the African American community, and specifically African American men, for how they accused African American men of being sexist, racist, and misogynist. And there's no recovery from that. And we see it now. And now Stacey Abrams' nonprofit organization has received $2 billion. That money is going to be taken back. I doubt any charges are going to be filed because it was done legally. But the only thing that she had no accomplishments. And one of the nonprofit shell corporations she represented had $100 in deposits in the bank, and she was able to gain $2 billion. Now, that is fraud if I've ever seen it. What I believe is the money will just be taken back, it'll be recovered, and no charges will be filed. So with that, we're going to leave it. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is May 1st. What we're hearing now is that the Senate is getting closer to passing a bill before they go on vacation. As you've noticed, you've been following me, and I've said repeatedly that all the Republican-led Congress is going to do, both the House and the Senate, is have to pass stopgap bills that are going to be port-filled all the way until April 2026, because they haven't been able to really negotiate on any true budget. Now, the House of Representatives, led by the Republicans and Speaker Johnson, have already passed a bill for a budget, and it's been passed on to the Republican-led Senate. However, we already know that Mitch McConnell, in his drool and diaper, is not going to vote for it. And we're unsure at this time how many other Republicans are going to vote. There's a majority of 53 in the House. So all we need is 51 votes, and then it'll be passed. However, those two other people are in question. So we'll sit it out. We'll find out what's going to happen. Stay tuned. We'll keep you posted as the financial markets begin to rebound. This is Crypto Kid TV. And as I said, the Democrats owe the African American community a lot of apologies and money for shipping in for allowing these illegal aliens to come into the country and then shipping them to predominantly African American cities, and using money that should be going to wipe out crime and blight to assisting these people. It's sad still the African American community as a whole do not see through this ploy, but we'll keep you posted. Thank you so much for being here. This is Daniel Plummer, the Crypto Kid, signing out. And remember, the future is crypto.